most incredible gift, which is the essence of all of the gifts, and that's pure love for the lotus feet of Shri Shri RADHAKRISHNA. And that brings us back to Prema Pramatra Mahan. You know, the great artha. Artha means something valuable. Sometimes it means money. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. You know, artha. Okay, I'm going to be religious because then I can prosper and then I can, you know, satisfy and everything like that. That's not really what religion is meant for. Dharma is meant for developing bhakti. That's right in the Bhagavatam, 2nd chapter. Savakun samparo dharmo yato bhaktera hokshaje. That Dharma, what is Dharma that can bring real satisfaction for the soul? Eternal satisfaction. That which engenders bhakti unto hokshaja, the transcendent Lord. And what is that quality? Again, the same word Lord Chaitanya uses, ahaitiki. But he adds another thing, apratiyata, uninterrupted. Uninterrupted and unmotivated bhakti is what will really satisfy us. So the whole process of bhakti, as I've been explaining in other classes, is to train our mind and our senses and our intelligence to turn back to Krishna. We've turned away from Krishna and we've been absorbed in the material energy since time immemorial. And mostly in, you know, subhuman bodies. And every so often we get a human body, but if we don't get the right association, we don't get a chance to associate with a pure devotee, then we stay illusioned and we stay absorbed in material energy, and we can easily lose this human form of life. So Srila Prabhupada gave us this sense of urgency. You know, he himself said, I can leave at any time, he said, but you'll go on, you know, and take advantage of this movement, and you also give it to others. In other venues, I think in Tucson we had a few classes on Prahlad's prayers, Prahlad Maharaj. There's two prayers that characterize what this movement is all about. The mood of Srila Prabhupada and his sincere followers. It says, some of you know this verse. He's saying, my dear Lord, he's praying to Lord Nrsingadeva after Hiranyakashipu has been annihilated, all the demons are gone. You know, and the Nrsingadeva is very pacified. Prahlad is there. My dear Lord, I have no problem. I'm not at all disturbed. You see? I'm already on the other side of the Vaitravani river. I'm living in the spiritual world. My consciousness is there. And anytime I want, this goes for us as well. I can sing, I can literally sing and chant your glories and immerse my mind in an ocean of nectar. So how can I have any problem? He proved, his father tried to kill him in so many ways and he was unperturbed. He was protected. But then he says something very amazing. Shochetato, I am lamenting. So Prabhupada says in the prayer, he's happy and unhappy at the same time. Why is he unhappy? These fools and rascals, all ordinary people, who've turned away from you. Vimukha literally means turning the face away. They've turned their back on you, and they're bearing the burden of trying to enjoy this flickering material happiness, called Maya Sukhaya, illusory happiness. And then, so I'm lamenting for them. What can I do? Next verse, he said, Prayana Deva Manayosa Mukti Kama, Maunam Chalanti Vidane Naparata Nishta. He says, for the most part, these transcendentalists, these munis, why are they called munis? You know why? Because they practice mauna, silence. You know, you ever know a devotee who practice silence? Not for long. You know, they'll break up into song, Hare Krishna. Silence means don't speak nonsense. Always speak about Krishna, you can speak as much as you want. So he said, but these munis, they're Svabhamukti Kama. They simply want their own liberation. They don't care about anybody else. That's not bhakti, that's not a soft, compassionate heart, that's not sadhu. You know. And to that end, they don't say anything. Maunam, Sharanti Vijane. They move in places where there are no people. In the Himalayas, the forest, the caves somewhere, so they can have peace and they can meditate. Vidane Napararta Nishta. There's the word artha again. Not caring about the benefit of anyone else. Napararta Nishta. But I'm not like that. Naitan Vihaya Kripanan. I'm not going to give up on these kripanas, these wretches, you know, because I see that there's no hope for them except you. I have to give them you. This is what Prabhupada is giving us Krishna. He's giving us the means of contacting Krishna. So Prahlad says, I'm going to stay in the big cities and preach. And this is exactly the mood of Srila Prabhupada. He was in the forest, he was in Vrindavan, he could have stayed there. and just chanted Hare Krishna like all his god brothers, you know, and maintained a little temple. But he had the mission. The spiritual master told him, go and preach in English in the Western world. Lord Chaitanya said, every town and village in the world, my name will be chanted. You know, so Srila Prabhupada felt that urgency. Even in Vrindavan, he'd go to Delhi and check on the printing. How's the Bhakti-Gita coming, you know, and printing his books. They were wondering, what is this sadhu doing? Why doesn't he just stay in Vrindavan? He leaves Vrindavan and goes to Delhi, the big city, because that's where he could print the books. And eventually he left India altogether and came to the biggest city, New York City, you know, the last place that the Mukti commies would go to. It's not peaceful. There's millions of people. And I lived there. The fumes, the noise, you know, you don't want to be there. The Prabhupada was wandering around Broadway trying to sell his books out of his mercy. So that's because he knew that without the love for Radha and Krishna, without that pure love and devotion, we don't have any hope. We're going to suffer like anything in this world. So that's some of the gifts of Srila Prabhupada. And I didn't want to take all the time. I hope I haven't taken all the time. But I wanted to focus on the Bhagavad Gita, especially now we're coming up to what we call the Advent of the Gita. We call it that in San Diego. It's known as Gita Jayanti, but we don't. We try to follow this injunction of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Srila Prabhupada told us that Jayanti is only there for the advent of the Lord. It shouldn't be used for any other means, any other word. So we say the Advent of Gita. The idea is Moksha Ekadashi is coming up. That's the day, the anniversary of the day that Lord Krishna actually spoke Bhagavad Gita. So that we'll be celebrating that. And of course, it's a time when we can facilitate the distribution of Gitas. You can sponsor so many Gitas like that. So therefore, I prepared this little slideshow of selected verses from the Bhagavad Gita with a little explanation and illustration. And I'd like to present that now if there's no other discussion on the gifts of Srila Prabhupada. We're all very fortunate that these gifts have been given and we should take advantage of them. Okay, so we'll do that now. I'll set that up. And it'll take a few minutes, but then we'll have that. And if we have time, I have a couple of other slideshows of what we want to look at.